Next interesting hand, I look down at 7-5 of diamonds, no straddle on, 5-handed. I make it 30 to go. The small blind puts it a 3-bet and he makes it $100. The big blind cold calls, so I think I would probably consider a fold here, facing just the initial raiser, but having that extra money in from the big blind as well, getting a better price, 3 ways with a suited 1-gapper. Seems okay to make the call here, I think. So I toss in the call and we go 3 ways to a flop. Pretty favorable flop for the 7-5 of diamonds. It comes 5-4-3 with 2 diamonds. Top pair plus a flush draw, backdoor straight draw, backdoor everything draw. Small blind puts out a bet and he bets 175. Not the biggest c-bet into 2 players. However, the big blind puts in a bigger bet himself. He makes it 600 to go. Now it's a very interesting spot. I'm about $2,000 effective with the big blind. The small blind only has maybe $600 or so himself. So it's a really interesting spot considering all the different ranges here. It seems extremely likely that the big blind has some sort of a big pair, something along the lines of pocket queens. The small blind is also going to have some ace-king type holdings some percentage of the time. The big blind could potentially have an ace-king of diamonds type hand himself. He could have a better flush draw than us. However, we have a pair, so we can never be in too terrible of shape here, and it's much more likely that our hand has connected with this board via one of the sets, one of the potential sets, than the big blind. I'd expect him to have a bigger hand, bigger pair most of the time, and I'd expect him to fold those smaller pairs most of the time, some of the time at least. So if the big blind does happen to have a hand like pocket queens, pocket jacks, and we put in a raise, we go for maximum fold equity to go along with our raw hand equity, there's a pretty decent chance that we can get him off of that type of a hand. If we are to put in the 3-bet on the flop, jam all in here, it's got to look pretty strong to the big blind's position. So I think that seems like the best option here. Realize our equity to the maximum, go for maximum fold equity, jam it all in there. $2,000 effective with the big blind. The small blind seems to be resigned to his fate because he just calls it off immediately. So he calls it off for about $600. The big blind feels a little disgusted with himself apparently. He's kicking himself a little bit for the raise there. He folds, he puts in the fold and he shows kings, folds king's face up. Turns out the small blind has pocket aces, so he wasn't in a folding mood, and for this price, not going anywhere. Apparently, he's only got a little over $400 left himself, so not going to throw the pocket aces away. We are flipping in this situation. The turn does not improve our hand. The river does improve our hand. River is 10 of diamonds, and we make a flush. We get ourselves a pretty favorable run out for the 5-7 of diamonds, and we take down a pretty good sized pot there. So those were a few of the more interesting hands from the Green Valley Ranch session. I would love to be able to mix this into the rotation if possible, if this game continues to go at a semi-regular frequency. Either way, we had ourselves a good session over there last night. We got into the game for $2,000, got out of the game for $3,680, I believe. Profit of $1,680 according to my math. So good session of poker, and that leads us to today. Here we are back at the Bellagio.